Answer the call.
Welcome to this week's Character Unlock podcast, where we're going to spend a little bit of time chatting some nonsense, talking a little bit about the news. There's not been much news, but we're going to talk a little bit about the news and a few games we've been playing. Yeah, basically just waste an hour and a half of our time and yours talking about nothing important whatsoever. I'm hosting this week, as is plainly obvious. I'm Andrew Brooker, and joining me, as always, is my good buddy John Miller. Mr. Miller, how are you, mate?
All is good, my friend. You say that we're wasting an hour and a half of my time, bearing in mind I actually listened to this back, so I'm wasting 3 hours of my time for this.
Whose fault is that?
Mostly yours for making me do this.
I don't make you listen to it back.
That's a good point, I suppose.
It's literally like recording a conversation we have in the pub and then listening to it again later.
I think
as if you're going to get something meaningful from that experience. Let me save you an hour and a half, mate. You're not gaining anything.
I just want to see what it is that you managed to keep in and what you cut out, and then usually what you add as a stinger, which you haven't done for a while.
Well, there's been good stuff, but I'm like, I'm not sure if I should put it in. If something like really amazing happens, I will stick it in, but last couple of episodes, okay, the Mass Effect episode, by the time I got to the end, I was just like, I'm not doing anything. Fuck you.
Just turn it off. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Literally, just please God, make it stop.
You were one moment away from blowing a rape whistle, weren't you?
Yeah, I really was. Absolutely. Just yelling fire. And actually, because what I've done instead, like the last couple of episodes we've done, I've left the stupidness in the main bit of the podcast as well.
Well, that's probably what makes us more popular, I guess.
Well, I hope so. The more I listened to us just chatting nonsense, I was actually like, because a couple of episodes back, I had like a really good time just listening to the conversation we had. Like, I laughed my ass off at it. I don't know if anybody else did, but I thought it was really funny, so I just left it all there. At which point, there's no point in cutting it out and sticking it at the end. Just leave it all in and just let it flow as the conversation flowed with us. Yeah, I thought it came out alright.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, most people probably didn't find it as funny as we did, recording it on the grounds that they don't know us very well.
Well, no, they weren't here.
True.
But, you know...
Well, we hope they're not here.
There's at least one right behind you.
Oh, God. I didn't look, I promise. You twat.
Absolutely. See, that's, gold. That comedy gold. Why wouldn't I leave that in?
Because you're a prick.
Well, yeah, true.
It took you 3 attempts to start this fucking episode.
I was trying to be clever and I'm tired, and no, there's no excuse. I'm just a mong.
Yep. Fucking spanner.
So let's move very swiftly on. And let's talk a little bit about news. Well, the couple of big things that have happened the last week or so.
Hello, brother.
So yeah, I don't know. What should we do? I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's talk about the one that was kind of confirmed today, literally 2 hours before we started recording.
Yeah.
And the confirmed is a strong word, but kind of people have confirmed that leaks do actually really confirm a new Assassin's Creed game coming out this year, as if we weren't already sure of that already.
Yeah.
But apparently it's called Assassin's Creed Origins, and it looks like it's going to be set in ancient Egypt. Which, what do you think, mate? What's your take? Because you were a little bit iffy with Assassin's Creed as a franchise, really, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Assassin's Creed. I mean, I was very late to the party for Assassin's Creed 3, because Revelations burnt me quite horribly. I mean, apart from Brotherhood, I didn't like any of the ones leading up to 3, which I was late to, and then I found out was actually pretty fun. Loved Black Flag, Didn't try Unity on the grounds that... Well, no, sorry, that's a lie. I did try Unity, a couple of months back, because it was like £3.
Yeah.
got about an hour into the game and gave up on it because it was shit. And then absolutely adored Syndicate. But yeah, I'm actually a little bit more excited. But with regards to like the leak, it was it was just the typical posted to Reddit by just a random username, which has been deleted since then.
Yeah.
But the username looks kind of like a reference to one of the Ubisoft staffers who worked on Black Flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that, I have to admit.
Yeah, the username is apparently called Shout Out to Ashraf, and Ashraf Ismail is one of the guys who worked on Black Flag. So yeah, it seems like it could be. Although a leak, it looks like it's going to be one of those leaks in inverted commas.
Yeah.
Where it was just a member of staff has gone, oh yeah, we need to do this to give us a bit of publicity for free, and make it seem a bit more shady than it really is. When in reality, it's just some guy working for their like community manager or something, just going, yeah, let's push this out now because E3's around the corner.
Yeah, dipping toes in the water a little bit.
Yeah, see what's going on.
Yeah, see how the community react. I mean, it was no one, I think, was surprised even a tiny little bit that a new Assassin's Creed was coming. And we are at that time, we're 5 weeks away from E3, so the leaks will be coming thick with an F.
You are fucking thick, mate.
Jesus, the leaks are coming thick and fast, or will be coming thick and fast.
Not thick and fast.
Not thick and fast. The leaks will be coming thick and fast for the next for the next few weeks leading up to E3, to the point. I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit down the way as well, because we've got plans and we're going to do stuff for E3. But the E3, there's rarely a big surprise at E3 anymore, because the leaks for the weeks beforehand tend to ruin everything. And for me, as somebody that likes to sit and watch the press conferences every year, I want the surprise, and you rarely get them anymore. So, but Assassin's Creed was never going to be a big surprise. So hopefully, a little bit of E3, a little bit of gameplay at E3 would be nice. Confirmation of, because there's rumors going around that it's going to be part of a trilogy. That was something that Kotaku reported, I think, last year.
Yeah. It was what was that? Codenamed Empire.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it was going to start in ancient Egypt. It was going to be Egypt, Greece, and Rome, I think it was. It's been a long time, and I've read a lot of Assassin's Creed rumors since then.
Well, that makes sense for it to have been codenamed empires, because those are the three greatest empires known to man, really.
Yeah. But then the British.
We've already had the British.
Yeah, true. But I was correcting you more than the Assassin's Creed thing. But yeah. Ancient Egypt would be interesting. Assassin's Creed, we spoke at great length a couple of months ago about Assassin's Creed, and I adore Assassin's Creed, but if they just take this lovely setting and just turn it into more, wrist blades and jumping into hay bales, it's going to need a lot more than that to pique my interest.
So climbing buildings, stabby, jump into hay bale isn't really enough for you then?
Well, it used to be enough for me, and it will probably still be enough for me, but it won't be enough for me to pick up said game at full price on launch day. It's been the tradition for me that I take the week of Assassin's Creed releases off work and do nothing but play Assassin's Creed. I probably won't bother with this new one. I say that now.
Yeah.
Plans will almost certainly change, but certainly at this precise point in time, the plan would not be to do that.
Probably going to go for the opposite. I might actually go for this one first time, because Ancient Egypt is actually a bit of a soft spot for me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, same with Ancient Greece, and again Rome when that comes around. So
yeah, Rome will be very cool, and there's a lot of story you could get out of Rome and Greece that would interest me a lot.
Yeah, those three empires are kind of I have a bit of a soft spot for. So I think that's probably the thing that interested me a little bit in the Ezio ones, was because it was set in Italy. It was Renaissance Italy basically, but
yeah,
going back further could be more entertaining for me, I think.
Yeah, Roman Empire Italy would be great. That would be really interesting, I think. I would definitely, that one I would book time off of work for.
The devil's advocate, I'm guessing that one of the sections of maybe the Greece Empire one will probably involve at least one of those famous battles that people all love in like Troy and fucking Spartans, all that shit.
That's okay though, because to be fair, you know, the Assassin's Creed games have kind of prided themselves on bringing a lot of real life stuff into these games and real life people. You know, it's what's made them what they are. You know, just running around Renaissance Italy would have been great, or would have been fun. But what was excellent was running around Renaissance Italy and being friends with Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
You know.
But I can just imagine it being like it's an assassin's idea to make the Trojan horse and then use that to go in and assassinate the target inside the fucking walls.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely be there. So, I would think it will probably turn up there just because Greece.
Yeah.
A lot of politics in Greece, same as Rome. You know, a lot of political stuff, which I find very interesting. So I'd be quite into that. But yeah, I think you're probably right. We'll get, you know, Trojan horses and the like.
Yeah.
But for me, mate, to be honest, there ain't many games for me that can overshadow Assassin's Creed. But last week, a game overshadowed Assassin's Creed for me. I'm very unapologetic in my love for Darksiders, even though I never finished Darksiders 2 because it annoyed the piss out of me. But I am a giant fucking emo at heart, and Darksiders kind of speaks to me in that teenage I want everything to be blood and skulls thing. And yeah, so last week THQ Nordic announced Darksiders 3, which I am very, very excited for.
Yeah.
You don't sound convinced, Mr. Miller.
I loved Darksiders. I thought it was probably one of my games of last gen.
Yeah.
A little less of the whole remaster that came out. But Darksiders 2 was not the same animal, which you can agree with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I'm a little skeptical on number 3, because if it's had a long development, as we can tell.
Yeah.
But if it's more 2 than it is 1, then it's not going to be great. And although Fury looks quite badass, not convinced by her weapon. Don't like the idea of a woman having a whip just for the sake of it.
I think...
Or a bladed whip at that. It's like, fuck it, Soul Calibur character.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
I think the whip works. For me it works because she kind of... No, it sounds really mean to say she's a bit of a waif, because she's not, because she's about the same size as Death. But it suits the build of her character, and it suits her because she seems really cocky in the little trailer we've got. So a little bit of backstory. So the 4 horsemen in the Darksiders universe. Well, the Darksiders universe is a universe centered around the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We've got War, who was in Darksiders 1. We've got Death, who was in Darksiders 2. And there are 2 others. You have Fury and Strife. Fury is the guy's sister, and interestingly has been since pretty close to the beginning of the game. I'm pretty sure you see a picture of all 4 of them at the beginning of Darksiders 1, and Fury is a chick with a whip. Almost certain.
Probably, yeah.
And yet, there was an interesting amount of backlash from people complaining about there being a woman as the main character of a Darksiders game.
Well, that's because people are idiots.
Yeah. There was an equal amount of people screaming about the name of the horseman being Fury when Fury is not really a horseman, which was an interesting hill to die on for a lot of people. I don't understand how, because anybody that researches for more than 5 minutes will discover that actually, as far as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the only one that's ever actually been named outright is Death.
Yeah.
The rest are all open to interpretation. Plus, you know, it's a fucking video game about people in supersized Zelda armor beating the shit out of giants and angels and monsters, and fuck off. Anyway. So this game we're going to have, there's going to be, it's slightly spoiling Darksiders 1 and 2, but from what we can tell so far, it will be Fury, who is the third horseman, will be chasing down the 7 deadly sins who are wreaking havoc on Earth. But it looks like there's going to be, at the very least, kind of a side plot with War from the first one, because we see him chained up at the beginning of the pre-rendered trailer that we've had.
Yeah.
But there's been some gameplay as well, and the gameplay, it all looks like Darksiders. Ravaged Earth, monsters, severely overpowered horsemen of the apocalypse running around beating shit out of everything. But it looks fun. I do, like I said earlier, I've never finished Darksiders 2 because it's not the kind of game or gameplay that really interests me that much. Because the whole story behind Darksiders was made on the cheap, or on the cheap-ish, and had a few RPG elements to it, but was definitely more kind of Zelda than anything else. And it's something that pretty much everybody that's ever played says and can see when they play the game.
Well, it was Legend of Zelda, but with violence.
Pretty much. But Vigil Games, who disappeared when THQ went bankrupt a couple of years ago, Vigil Games said they always wanted to make Darksiders a proper, dungeon crawling RPG, which is what they made with Darksiders 2. And this is where me and Darksiders 2 fell out. Not because it's an RPG, because if it was good, I would have carried on playing, as much as I don't particularly like RPGs. But it done that thing that Mass Effect 2 done to me, was that I found myself in a fucking dungeon that I was completely underpowered for, completely underleveled, and I just kept getting my ass handed to me, and I got annoyed and just turned it off and went and played something else and never went back.
Hang on, that Mass Effect 2 one was entirely your fault. Because you chose to go into that area without actually knowing what to do.
Well, that's not my fault. I went into the area that the game presented to me.
Yeah, I'll admit that Mass Effect 2 really should have held back the DLC sections till after you collected half of your until you get access to Ilium, basically.
Yeah. I do take responsibility for Darksiders 2 because I probably wasn't paying attention, or I'd done something completely wrong and I wasn't leveled enough. It was my own fault. I never went back to it. So I've never said Darksiders 2 is a shit game. I'm sure it's perfectly good. Metacritic scores say it's pretty good. I just have never gone back to it. I have bought it again. I've bought the Definitive Edition. Bought it the same day I bought my War Mastered Edition that I haven't finished yet because I went on and played something else. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm really glad. So it's being made by a group called Gunfire Games, who are the remnants of Vigil Games. So the guys that originally made Darksiders, and they didn't say they were going to make 3 and 4, but in one of the little interview things they've done, they said we would like to do this game and try not to mess up the story of 1 and 2, have it all work in, and then maybe move on to another one. I was like, ooh, because Darksiders 4 is the dream for me at the moment. Darksiders 4 is the dream for me, not because I want to play Darksiders 4, but because I want decent, high-quality renderings of all the horsemen, because I want them tattooed.
Okay, yeah, See, now I understand where you're coming from on this one, as opposed to... Because you're just going, I really can't wait for number 4, because number 3 is going to suck, and therefore 4 is going to be better.
No, not at all. I have every confidence that 3 will be a good game. I have every confidence 3 will be a great game. I would put money on THQ Nordic, who are the people that are going to be publishing it, saying to the guys at Gunfire, this is excellent, absolutely, do your Darksiders, cut it down a bit.
Yeah.
Let's not be a 60-hour dungeon crawler, or even a 20-hour dungeon crawler, let's be the 12 to 15-hour hack and slash that the first one was, because that was a great game, or is a great game.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be a dungeon crawler. It was enough open world, and it gave you the very basic element of you go into area, you beat mid-level boss, you pick up new power, you use said power to beat end boss.
Yep.
And then the final boss at the end of it involves using all of those powers you've picked up from all those dungeons beforehand.
Yep.
That's all the game needs to be.
Yeah. Sometimes simplicity is the best way. So you don't have to have your game overly complicated.
You give me 20 hours worth of combat experience and going through a game into a final boss fight, add in a fucking shooting section where you have to fly through a load of caves. You have to kill all but one of the fucking enemies you come across to get an achievement.
Yep.
Give me that. I want that back.
Yeah. Bit of a challenge, but not Darksiders 2. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Gameplay we've seen has seen Ulthane is coming back, who is the giant blacksmith. Who I loved Ulthane in the first one. I thought he was great, and I know he was in the second one as much as I don't think I got to him. But yeah, Ulthane is returning. The voice work for Fury intrigues me because the woman, I don't know the name of the woman doing it. I'm assuming, there might be people that do. She might be a proper, famous video game voiceover actress, but I don't know her. But she's kind of got that cockiness about her, very sure of herself.
Yeah.
Which it could be. I think it could be interesting doing that. And her with a whip, I'm alright with a whip. I'm more than okay because she's going all Simon Belmont. She's going to Castlevania that bad boy for me. I'm alright with a whip. But yeah, the voice work, I want good voice work because obviously, War I thought was great, but in Darksiders 1 we have Mark Hamill being the Watcher, and he was awesome. And
that was awesome.
And in the second one, we have Michael Wincott as Death, and I love Michael Wincott. I think he's great, and his voice was awesome. And I love his "This is no place for a horse."
I have to go alone. This is no place for a horse.
I loved it, and I still say it to this day for absolutely no reason. I just randomly say it, and I tried to do it in his voice as well, and fail. But yeah, Darksiders 3, mate. 2018, according to the trailer. I cannot fucking wait. And I really hope we see more of that at something. So, something that Jeff Keighley does maybe at E3. Lots of gameplay, please. So on to talking about what we've been playing for the last couple of weeks. I've kind of been continuing my quest to finish a few of the Telltale and basically just the episodic games that have been sitting on my PlayStation just waiting for me to finish. So I have played, I think you've played a couple of these as well. So I finished the Telltale Game of Thrones game.
Oh, you actually finished it?
Yeah. Man, dude, that is so boring.
Yeah.
Like, forgetting that Game of Thrones is basically just this nightmare of relentless misery. Like, the video game is exactly the same. And I found myself so annoyed and so bored while I was playing Telltale Game of Thrones that I was purposefully making choices so that people would die quicker, so that I didn't have to deal with their shit anymore. It's just relentless fucking misery, and it was just boring. I don't understand. I know a lot of people have really enjoyed Telltale Game of Thrones. I don't understand why or how. Obviously, different strokes. You like what you like, and that's fine. I'm not judging anybody that does like Game of Thrones, but dude, I was so bored. I was so bored, and yeah, I only had an episode and a half left to finish the game off, so it took about 3 hours. That's the longest 3 hours of my life. Just this constant cel-shaded dick slap to the face. Awfulness. Absolutely terrible. Did you play the Game of Thrones one?
I played the first episode, and I finished the first episode, and then I started playing the second episode, but I can't remember why I didn't get past the opening scene. I think it was because as soon as you get control of your character at the start of the second episode, and you have to walk through that stupid fucking I want to say house
Yeah.
in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah.
I was just wandering through the house and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I didn't enjoy the first episode. I was barely paying attention towards the end.
Yeah. I definitely I bought this one because there was Borderlands and this and Borderlands really came out about the same time, really on the edge of all the Telltale hype. Like we'd had Walking Dead and we had Wolf Among Us. They'd had a lot of success and a lot of the games they were doing were really good. So I just kind of bought the season passes on release day. You know, I didn't question it, didn't fuck around. At the time, I was quite a big Game of Thrones fan. I'm not anymore. So I just thought, you know what, this is going to be great. You know, choose your own adventure Game of Thrones. Fan-fucking-tastic. No. I mean, I should be a bit more, you know, I shouldn't just sit there and go, no, it's shit, no, it's shit. So it's set in this strange little time between, like, the Red Wedding at the end of season
3?
3?
Pretty sure it's 3.
Yeah. And, like, certain other things happening, I believe, at the end of season 4, beginning of season 5. I can't remember. It's all just melded into one bloody pulp mess for me nowadays. So you play as a house that you haven't actually had an awful lot of dealings with when it comes to the TV show. So you can basically, they've inserted these new characters into this existing world at a time when, if you've watched the TV show, you're already familiar with this time period or this section of time in the story, and made you live inside that time. So yeah, all the characters are back. So, you know, Cersei, Marjorie, Jon Snow, all them, they're all back. Everyone's back. And you play as several people, as you would expect to do in a Game of Thrones game, because nothing is normal or linear. It's all over the bloody shop. So you play as a guy who's up on the wall, who ends up in the Night's Watch. You play a woman who's handmaiden to Marjorie in King's Landing. You play various cousins and uncles and things to this particular family. The Forresters? I want to say the Forresters.
It's probably Forresters.
Yeah. You know, all the super duper bad guys come back or appear in it. And I think actually, you know what? This might be one of my biggest problems with Telltale Game of Thrones. So there are a couple of people that turn up in it that you know are complete bastards because you've seen them in the TV show. But the problem is, you've seen them in the TV show, they're still in the TV show. So you know you don't get, or he doesn't get, any comeuppance at all. He just gets to be an asshole for 6 episodes. And remembering, this is a 6-episode season, this Telltale game, not like the rest which are 5. This is a 6-episode long season, and this guy just gets to be an unrelenting twat for
the entire way through it. Yeah. And you've got there's nothing you could do about it.
No, absolutely nothing. So I mean, it falls into the same category at that point as The Walking Dead, where there's no happy ending, there's no decent bit, there's no, you know, there's no resolution to anything. It's just life goes on and it's still shit. I mean, I've recommended the Telltale games to a lot of people because I genuinely believe they're really quite good. I would not recommend this to anybody. I think it's their worst outing since the Jurassic Park game.
Oh God.
But it's not all doom and gloom with Telltale games, because you played a little bit of Telltale game this week as well, didn't you?
Yes. In the last couple of weeks since you spoke about having finished it yourself, I decided to give Batman a go, and I tell you what, in the first episode alone, I think I've kind of fallen in love with it a little bit.
It's good, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the characters. I tell you what, I really enjoyed. My favorite thing, I'm guessing, is the one scene at the cafe where it's Bruce Wayne, Harvey, and Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, it's very, it's much more tense than you expect it to be. and it kind of, it ramps up the tension. It's you feel like you have to be really careful about the dialogue choices you make in that particular conversation. I like that scene. That was really good.
Yeah, and it's the fucking choices that you can make in the conversation, and so many of them are just so obvious one-liners. It's fucking hilarious, brilliant. I love it. Everything about the Batman game is the opposite of what the Game of Thrones game is, where all of the fucking bits of conversation take you to a bit of more boring conversation.
Yeah.
Versus the Batman game, which is, well, from what I've played so far, it's this is a hilarious one-liner, or you can choose this other hilarious one-liner.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where it turns a little bit serious, and you have to have a couple of serious conversations. But the beauty of it is, at that point, you look at it and go, "Oh, what? I'm not sure how to answer this." I think I mentioned it in the other episodes. Like, you get to a point, I think about episode 3 or 4, where it's quite clear that everybody has had the exact same reaction and gone, "Oh, what do I say here?" Because the percentages they give you, like the stats they give you at the end, aren't anywhere near as clear cut as the ones in like episode 1 and 2, where everyone's just gone, "Fuck you, I'm Batman."
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen the further on you go, because you do, and this is the point, you kind of get invested in the story, which is something I can't say for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Are you going to go back to Batman now and finish it?
I am. I just need to give myself a little bit of time to actually play it. At the moment, I keep getting distracted by other things, and a game that I played that I'll talk about later. But I think with Batman, I think the best choice that they gave you so far is being able to choose the color of your Batman gear.
It's amazing.
It's such a stupid and minute detail, but it's fucking brilliant.
No, I kind of went, I want it to be blue. I was like, no, my Batgear is going to be purple. Fuck you. I'm definitely playing this as if it's a Saints Row game.
Yeah, I chose purple as well. It's the obvious choice.
But yeah, it was a nice little touch, actually. It was one of those things that you kind of go, that was unexpected. It was something. Telltale made a little twist on what they'd done. Just to add a little bit of spice to it. Have you noticed the crowd playing options?
I've seen the crowd play availability. I've not really looked into it at all, but it seems weird that they give you the option to play it as a team or as 4 people, and it's like a democracy on what choice you make.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I was like, I'm not delving down that rabbit hole. The new Guardians game's got it as well, but yeah, I kind of looked. I was like, that seems like it would be good, for like Twitch streamers maybe, if you were going to live stream the story, and you could have people, vote on what you wanted to do. But I don't know how that would work with the game itself.
I don't know 3 other people who would be willing to play, or rather be willing to watch a Batman game be played in front of them.
No. Well, that's the other problem, of course, isn't it? Because everybody that I know that would play the games is a gamer and would want to play, not just watch me play. We're not 14 years old handing controllers around because it's your turn anymore.
Yeah, it's you get to play until you die, and you always end up with that one person who died really early, and it's like, oh, well, you can have a second go because you died after like 30 seconds, and then they have it for like an hour afterwards.
Yeah, but no, I really liked Batman. I finished that in just a couple of sit-ins. Actually, I was really impressed with how good it was, and refused to put it down. I was pleasantly surprised. We're talking about pleasantly surprised by Telltale games. I've also finished Tales from the Borderlands, finally.
It's good, isn't it?
Behind Wolf Among Us, I think this may be the second best Telltale game there is. Mainly because, dude, it's so funny.
It is. It's fucking brilliant.
Like, genuinely funny as well. Like, some proper laugh-out-loud moments in it. And not just, like, in the dialogue. Like, one of my favourite bits was towards the end. Someone kind of slipped over in a puddle of blood and face planted into the floor. And the little bit in the corner that says, you will remember that, or such and such will remember that. It came up and said, such and such's face will remember that.
Yep.
I was like, that's fucking brilliant. I literally, like, in an empty house, no one around. I just went, and kind of pointed at it as if to show the invisible people in my house just how funny that was. But no, I was really, really impressed. And I was a bit annoyed because when I got to it, I discovered I still had 2 episodes left to play. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I thought I only had 1. And then by the time I got halfway through the second episode, I was like, I wish I'd just started this from the beginning, because it's really good and I don't want it to end. Because, I mean, the story is amazing and a lot of fun. And you don't really need to know the Borderlands lore
No.
to play it, because I don't, I finished Borderlands 1, and through various bits of marketing, I know who Handsome Jack is.
Yeah.
So when he turns up, in Tales from the Borderlands, I know who he is, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you really missed out because Borderlands 2 was free recently on Xbox Games with Gold.
I'm pretty sure I added it to my list.
So you should definitely go through and play it, because Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack's a fucking outstanding character.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame that he came out at the exact same time that Arkham something came out.
Yeah.
Which was why that he didn't get Best Villain and Mark Hamill did.
I do keep seeing like is it the Handsome Jack collection?
Yeah.
Or the Handsome collection?
Yeah.
Something like
The
that.
Handsome collection.
Yeah, so the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2
Yeah.
that have been remastered for Xbox One.
Yeah.
I do keep seeing those going quite cheap, and think I wouldn't mind picking those up, mainly just to get a bit of Handsome Jack, because I really liked him in Tales from the Borderlands.
Yeah, he's the Tales from the Borderlands version of him is a bit more of a caricature of his actual self, but Handsome Jack as a whole is a fucking brilliant character who you only really come across in person once. The rest of the time it's just him talking to you over the Echo device.
Yeah.
But it's still fucking brilliant him talking to you over the Echo device, because he's such a well-designed and well-spoken character.
Yeah.
You'll be in the middle of running from one section of another, and then you'll just hear the voice work coming over, and it's like, I'm going to stop now and listen to this, because fuck those guys over there shooting at me, I want to pay attention.
Excellent. No, I do want to play it, but I thought Tales from the Borderlands, was, it was genius, because it had little bits of combat in it. It had, all the standard quick time events were there, of course they were, but it actually had, like, actual combat.
Yeah.
Like, shooting at things, which kind of, it threw me the first time it happened. But I have to admit, I really enjoyed it, and I would like to see more of that. Like I say, second only to The Wolf Among Us for Telltale games for me.
Yeah. With Tales from the Borderlands, did you get the all of the characters for the final fight, or did you not get the last one?
I didn't get the guy from Borderlands 1. I didn't have the money for him.
Oh, yeah.
I've forgotten his name. Zero.
Flat. Oh.
Because you have the opportunity to choose Zero.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the money because I'd spent super duper amounts of money on clothes. Because I'm a bellend.
Yep. Oh yeah, I spent a fortune on clothes because it's interesting to spend loads of money on the clothes for no reason.
Yeah.
Just because the ability to actually get clothes and change your outfit is new, really.
Yeah.
I quite like that in a Telltale game. It's much better than just walking around in the generic ones.
Yeah. We just take a minute as well to appreciate that Patrick Warburton does voice work in Tales from the Borderlands.
Yeah.
I love Patrick Warburton. I love his voice. I know he's in Family Guy.
Yep.
Is it Family Guy he's in?
Yes, he is.
Cool. Because I don't watch Family Guy. But I do watch Rules of Engagement.
Yes.
Like, religiously. Almost as much as I watch Friends. It's just on all the time in my house.
Makes sense.
And he's fucking amazing in Rules of Engagement. And when I first heard his voice, I was like, holy shit, is that Patrick Warburton? And obviously then, credits roll and it tells you it is. But then, like, I'm playing episode 2, and Maya was like, the wife, she said, is that Patrick Warburton? I said, yeah, it's like, cool. So
Yeah.
I've got this massive collection of games that I'm desperate to get her to play, and I bet the only way I get her to play Tales from the Borderlands is because it's got Pat Warburton in it.
Patrick Warburton's put a lot of voice work into a lot of games, and a lot of them have been like Telltale games as well.
Yeah. He also, completely nothing to do with games or anything, but he plays the sheriff in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the TV show.
All right.
Again, I sat there and went, is that Patrick with the Little and watches? Is that Pat Warburton?
It's difficult to confuse Pat Warburton's voice with anyone else's.
Well, this is true, but at the same time, you don't necessarily expect it in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the cartoon.
Suppose. Hey, everybody needs money.
Well, true.
And Patrick Warburton will do anything for money.
Nah, we'd all do anything for money.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd sit in an empty room and talk into a mic for the money Patrick Warburton gets.
Well, currently I'm doing it right now
That's
for
it.
no money.
This
So,
is it. I'm currently sitting here doing it for nothing but the love of talking to you, my friend.
well, I love you too. Not quite like that, but
But yeah, I was very, very impressed with Tales from the Borderlands. I really want more. I hope that Guardians of the Galaxy hits that level of comedy. So far it hasn't. But it's only one episode in, so I hope it might get better. But so far, it feels like it's trying really, really hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah. My interest in Guardians of the Galaxy is that it's not based on the films, whereas I think that's Game of Thrones' biggest issue, is that it was based on the TV show in such a loose way, where in reality what they should have done is not done that and actually made a relatively unique story in the Game of Thrones universe, based on things that are untold, essentially.
Oh, for sure.
Show.
Absolutely.
There's so much stuff in the books that isn't in the TV show that really could have, the game could have absolutely fallen into that category instead of going, oh yeah, by the way, we'll just have exact life characters.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I enjoy seeing Natalie Dormer in front of me all the time.
But no,
yeah.
the thing with Guardians is I thought it was going to be based on one of the films, and within 5 minutes, it very much tells you that it's not. It proves quite succinctly that it is not anything to do with the films. And I was okay with that, because once I got over that hurdle, I could just sit and enjoy.
Yeah.
But have you played anything else?
Yes. The other game that I've played which it's a game that I've had on rent for God knows how long, because it arrived about the same week that Mass Effect Andromeda was released. So I never played it until I finished Mass Effect Andromeda because I didn't play anything. And that was Overwatch, which I actually put on my rental list around about the same time the free weekend happened, and I completely forgot about it and didn't play it. While it was free.
Excellent. Oh, I'm so glad you played it, because I've really enjoyed Overwatch. What did you reckon?
I tell you what, I didn't play the multiplayer, if you know what I mean. I played the PvE event that was available to me at the time.
Oh, the Horde mode thing.
Yeah.
How was it?
I played that, and I only played that. I tell you what, it was really interesting. It was very entertaining, and I was playing with a friend, and we were just playing with just me, him, and a couple of randoms.
Okay.
And you only get a certain selection of characters to pick from.
Yeah, I think you only get 4, don't you?
Yeah, so it was I picked the giant Norse guy with the hammer.
Yeah.
I played with him, and it was quite fun running around smacking things with giant robots with a giant hammer. Yeah, being able to put up a shield was pretty entertaining. But in general, it was a lot of fun running around smacking things.
Yeah.
Which is what I really wanted it's entirely what I was expecting Overwatch to be, just a bit of fun, a bit of popcorn game, and it's exactly what it was. And then we played a second round of the same thing, but with all the characters unlocked.
Yeah.
And I picked the bloke with the 2 shotguns.
Okay.
I don't know what any of these characters' names are. And he was also a fair bit of fun to play with, but because we were playing with people who were low leveled, didn't really know what they were doing. So basically me. We failed miserably at doing that one because we just couldn't get no one was reviving each other apart from me and my mate. So it's like someone would go down and it was only me or my mate that would go and revive someone. The other two just sort of ignored them.
Okay.
And when you die, the missions fail.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bloody hell.
complete fucking tool bags on the other team, on the rest of the team. So we did that. I did that a couple more times, and then I didn't actually play the actual multiplayer, so I can't really comment on what the multiplayer's like and why it won all those awards. But I can't say I'm entirely disappointed on the fact that I didn't spend money buying the game.
Okay.
But I'm guessing I probably would enjoy it a lot more if I'd got it when it came out and was playing with friends when it came out, because I don't think any of my friends are still considering playing it, apart from, well, actually, even the one that I did play with said openly to me that he's a bit more casual when it comes to playing it, so isn't really interested in playing games for more than just the fun of playing games. So if we keep losing, it stops being fun, and then he just doesn't care anymore, and he gets worse, and then he doesn't really care, and then he gets worse again, and then in the end we all just get annoyed and turn it off.
Fair enough. I can see that. I don't play Overwatch that much anymore. I still have it installed just to quickly jump on and have a go, but because I played it enough to just be able to jump in and hold my own for a little while, have a couple of matches and quit, I can kind of do that. But I wouldn't want to be. It's kind of the complete opposite as well. Because I remember when I first played it, and I think I said it on the podcast once as well. Because there's no like skills to unlock, and there's no, it's not like leveling up in Battlefield. It's nothing but cosmetic stuff when you level up in Overwatch. Yeah. So in theory, you should be able to jump on, be Christmas noob, and it actually not make that much difference. But outside of obviously being new and the people that you're playing with aren't. But it's still, I can imagine it now, having spent a bit more time with it, I can imagine it now still being just as frustrating to be a new player in that game, especially as, fuck me, Overwatch players take that game seriously.
Yes, they do.
Like, really seriously. Like, I've seen several people take some pretty severe abuse, for just playing and having a bit of fun. How fucking dare they?
Oh god, no, you're not allowed to have fun playing video games anymore, Brooks.
You know what I mean?
You have to be fucking MLG right from the bat. It's like if you're not level over 100 already and you haven't, mastered every single character, or at the very least you've mastered one character to such an extent that no one actually can, compete with you on that character's level.
Yeah.
Then no, it's not worth playing it.
I was born prestiged, motherfucker.
Siege has turned into the exact same community where people actually will only play if they can pick the character that they want.
Yeah.
So from the character selection screen, you'll see one person will select a character, and then what will happen is someone else, a vote kick will come up in the corner because someone selected their character.
Yeah.
And then often they will be there with at least one or two of their friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the vote kick counter will just start going up, and then you'll receive a message saying vote kick this guy, and then you'll go why, and they won't actually answer you, and the countdown will end, and then they'll vote to kick you. Whoever it is, your friend will do that, and then the other guy will vote to kick you anyway, because he thinks that
yeah,
he doesn't quite understand what's going on, and then he'll get kicked anyway because that dude wants to play with that character.
Yeah, I've got no interest in communities like that.
It's so fucking toxic on Siege, and I think that the Overwatch community is kind of hitting the same sort of level.
Yeah, you tend to get abuse in Overwatch because I don't know. Well, you wouldn't have noticed because you didn't play standard online, but it tells you, like, it gives you advisories and tells you that you've got no tanks, you need a tank. You've got no support, you need a support. And everybody yells at everybody else for not choosing support, but they don't go and choose it anyway because, oh no, I want to play as my guy. I want to be a sniper.
Yep.
I want to be a sniper, you must be the other guy. Fuckers.
Pretty much.
So I do jump on, and obviously because I know the game and I can hold my own a bit, it's not an issue for me, and I'm not on long enough for there to ever be a problem. But yeah, it's communities like that frustrate me, but these games cultivate those communities. We've seen it on Battlefield. We see it every year on Call of Duty. It's, this isn't something that's specific to Overwatch or to Siege. It's something that every multiplayer community has. And, the sad fact of it is, you might disagree, but for me, the sad fact of it is I don't have time to be on these games online from the day they release every night to keep my shit quick. I've got too many other things to do.
Yeah.
I've got a podcast to record, damn it.
Yep, I've got a podcast to record, so I have to play lots of different games.
Yeah.
Because I have to play lots of different games, I can't get really good at one particular game.
Yeah.
But the only game that I could even consider to be relatively decent at is FIFA. And that's only because it's the only game that I pick up and play, and I play it every week. But
Yeah.
I think I've qualified for the weekend league on Ultimate Team twice now, and both times that I've done it has been at weekends where I'm not actually at home.
Your timing sucks, dude.
I know. I try to qualify every single week, so I will probably tomorrow night will jump on my Xbox after I come back from eating dinner,
Yeah.
and I will jump on my Xbox and I'll try and qualify, knowing for a fact that I'm actually away again this weekend, and I will probably manage to qualify.
Excellent. No, I really I'm desperate for a multiplayer game to keep my interest going. And I know I sound like a broken record when I say it, but I want another Killzone. Killzone I played for for hundreds of hours, and I loved it. And Killzone it just sat installed on my PlayStation 4, and after I'd got all my trophies and that, it still stayed installed on my PS4, and I just chucked it on and played for a couple of hours if I couldn't decide what I wanted to play, because it was always a game I could pick up and play and enjoy. And I haven't had a game do that for ages, and I do miss it quite a bit. Battlefield 3 back in the day, and Battlefield 4 to a point as well. You could just leave them installed, just pick them up and play, and because you're a relatively decent skill, 20 minutes or so, get your feet back into it, and you're back to having fun. I just haven't found a game to do that. I bought Overwatch hoping that would be, I'd get that feeling from Overwatch. But, I got it for a little while. But no, sadly.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before a game is released where I actually really care about the multiplayer properly.
Yeah. I cared about the multiplayer for Assassin's Creed for a long time. I was very good at that, blowing my own trumpet and all that shit. But I was quite good. I'd done all right at Assassin's Creed multiplayer. But maybe something will pique my interest at E3.
Maybe.
My last game for this week is another episodic game, and another one that's been sat on my list, just crying for me to finish it, and that was Life is Strange. So not a Telltale one, but
episodic nonetheless.
Developed by Square Enix. Published by Square Enix. Developed by Don't Nod, I think, or Don't Nod.
Something.
Productions. They made that weird little white and orange French thing a few years ago. I've forgotten what it's called.
White and orange French thing.
Yeah, it was all like a white and orange aesthetic. It was, I believe they're a French company, but oh crap, the name's really going to annoy me. I'm absolutely not Googling it as we speak. Not even a little bit. Remember Me.
Oh yeah, shit, I remember. I remember that game.
That game sucked so hard.
Yes, it did.
Okay, no, that's a bit unfair. I quite liked Remember Me. It was fun, but it was far too long. It needed to be about 2/3 as long as it was, because I just started getting bored with the same old bullshit in it. But yeah, anyway. So the guys that made this Life is Strange. Have you played Life is Strange?
Not yet. I've got it. I bought it. Yeah.
Oof. Oh, that game, mate. That left a mark. It was hardcore. I won't, in case people missed it, and it's a weird one. It's been out for more than a year, but I still feel like I shouldn't spoil it
Please don't, because I want to play it because I own it.
Yeah, irregardless of you not playing it, I don't want to say spoilers, and I know Brian did on the Mass Effect episode. But there are a couple of bits.
It's a good thing I didn't really listen to anything he said during the Mass Effect episode.
But yeah, there are a couple of bits that really they're quite emotionally draining and very, very tense, because you can genuinely it feels, and by the time you get to the first really big thing you can do, it genuinely feels like everything that's going to happen after this is going to be affected by what you do. You know, we're not talking telltale levels of, you know, such and such will remember this.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to affect the whole game. The whole game is going to change completely dependent on how you react here. And it's weird for a game to be able to do that. And I know Life is Strange has been quite polarizing. I know so many people that have played it and say it just hasn't clicked with them. They haven't gotten on with it. And there's this. I can definitely see that if you've never gotten past the first episode, because holy crap, the dialogue in the first episode is cringeworthy. I mean, it's teenage soap opera, Biker Grove levels of cringe. It made me want to rip off my ears just so I didn't have to hear it anymore. But outside of that, it's really, really good. And if you can get over that in episode 1 and just let it be part of the experience and enjoy it, by the end of episode 2, when big thing happens, you're absolutely immersed. And by the time you get to the end of it, and I only played it the once. I didn't have to play it again and try and get a better ending or better whatever. I'd done it, for want of a better word, right the first time. But even then, like after it had all been done, I had to pause the game and, you know, take a breath and go get a cup of coffee and, you know, just chill for 5 minutes, because it was so taxing, you know, in a really good way. Like I felt like I'd had an experience, which is what video games are for. But I walked out and I went, fuck me, I do not want to do that again. It was just horrific. It was so draining. And there are a couple of bits, you know, I think the end of episode 3 does something very similar, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing you can do about this. This is going to happen whatever you do. And then you get this really big reveal and like the most horrific thing has happened. And it does it right at the end of the episode and leaves you cliffhanging. Especially because, like all these other games I'm now finishing, at the time I was doing it as the episode finished. So it done this to me, it punched me in the gut, and then went, come back in a month for the next episode. I was like, motherfuckers, don't do that. What happens? But at the same time, it does all of that, and it is really good in that regard. It's got this really well-used time mechanic where you can rewind time and change things in the short term to hopefully get the better response outcome at the time. There are a couple of frustrating bits where you have to keep rewinding and doing things to succeed or to win that particular part of the game or to beat that particular part of the game, and they can be quite frustrating. But the game has a very do you know what I mean when I say it has like a Lynchian feel to it? Do you know? Have you ever seen Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like Twin Peaks. It's littered with Twin Peaks references, but it feels like you're playing a Twin Peaks episode or a Twin Peaks story arc. It's so good. It's so good. And yeah, and again, I got to the end and I finished the game, and it's, you know, again, obviously I won't spoil it, but you'll get to the end, and as is the way with games like this, you have to make a choice, and none of those choices are good. You have to decide which is the better choice, and you just get to the end and you go, "Oh, fucking hell, that was horrible." I finished it, and I let the game just sit there. I think I tweeted that I finished the game, and then just sat in my house, that empty house again. I'd been left on my own for a couple of hours. I thought, well, I'm going to get this finished now, get it done and dusted and out of the way. And I sat and went, I just sat in silence. And what the fuck do I do now? This is, this truly horrific, brilliant, amazing, terrifying game. It's a bit like, when your favourite drama show finishes and you watch the final episode and oh, well, now what do I do? And I think we've all had that problem, haven't we? We've all had that thing where we play a game that's so good you don't know how to follow it up. That's pretty much how all of my gaming funks start, is because I play something that is absolutely amazing and then don't know where to go from there. And if I hadn't already had the plan to, that evening or the next evening continue on with Tales from the Borderlands, I honestly don't know what I would have done with myself when it came to games to play, because it was just, oh, that's done. Well, now what? But yeah, I would wholly recommend Life is Strange. It's not Telltale short. The episodes, a couple of the episodes took like 3 hours. Because I was going around looking for things and doing puzzles and okay, I freely admit to trophy chasing as well, because you can you can manipulate things and make the game ask you to take photos, and each episode has 10 photos to take. You get a trophy for each one, and I was like, I've gotten all the photos up to this point, so I might as well carry on when I got to episodes 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because it would have annoyed me more not having that platinum at that point than chasing the trophy, than the hassle it caused chasing the trophies. So maybe if you're not achievement hunting, it's a bit quicker. But yeah, 2 to 3 hours an episode, 5 episodes, 15 hours. It's very, very good. I wholly recommend it.
Guess I'm going to give that a go after I finish with some of these Telltale games.
Yeah.
Speaking of funks, I think that I'm probably in one of those at the moment, thanks to Mass Effect, having finished that one.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad. I think that's the main reason to why I've played Overwatch and to why I probably haven't played much else in terms of actual gaming, and probably why the Telltale stuff's really going to help, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely those kind of games that I think they're good to have around, because you can burn an episode in a couple of hours and then move on to something else. Especially if you play it as the episodes come out. Obviously, you can't do it with Batman and Game of Thrones and that, because they're already done and dusted. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and keep stuff like that around. I've got season 2 of The Walking Dead, because we got that on Games for Gold last month, didn't we?
Yep.
And as much as I fucking loathe the opening 20 minutes to that game, I will probably keep it around and just, when I've got nothing better to do, just do an episode of, Child Killing Simulator 2017.
Bash an episode out.
Yeah. I mean, because I've never found an easy way to get out of a funk. I just have to keep putting discs until something doesn't bore me as much as everything else.
Yeah. Keep going until something clicks.
Yeah. And because I've got this massive pile of really long games that I need to get finished. Not that I even need to start. I need to finish. I'm halfway through my No Magic playthrough of Dishonored 2. I'm halfway through my first playthrough of Horizon. I've just started Prey. I need to stop and maybe actually finish one of these fucking games.
Nah.
I really want to finish Dishonored and replay, the low chaos, magic-filled Corvo playthrough that I'm planning, because I love the story and I love the world. I moved on to do something else and never went back, and I don't even know why, because whatever it was is not as good as Dishonored. And the same with Horizon. Horizon is a massive game, and actually the biggest problem I've got with Horizon is that I refuse to fast travel and I run across the map to get to my next mission, and that takes me 3 hours because I keep stopping to do things. You know, it's the same thing that everybody else does with Grand Theft Auto. I do it with Horizon, and I think a lot of other people do it with Horizon as well. I was talking to leg podcast legend Richard Natras the other day on Twitter, and we were both saying it's so easy to just run around and just spend time leveling yourself up and crafting stuff and killing things because they're there. And I discovered the other day there's an armor set you can get in Horizon Zero Dawn that essentially makes you invincible. And now I want to dedicate all of my time to finding that armor, so I can just cheese the rest of the game.
It's Assassin's Creed games have had that, haven't they? Where there's that one armor set that you get by doing all of one of the fucking stupid collectibles, but
Yeah,
you get a piece of armor which is amazing at one thing but completely useless for something else.
Yeah, but it basically makes you, invincible, so you can just run through and just bat a fuck out of everybody in your way. It's one of those weird. I don't know. I want to know. I do know why people put it in there, because it's fun to go chasing for stuff like this. But now I know it's there. I want to go do it, and I want to get that before I finish the rest of the game. But yeah, I'm curious. But yeah, it's. I have this long list of games. Ghost Recon was on that list as well, but
That's not
I'm
that
not.
anymore.
No, I think actually
Ghost Recon doesn't exist anymore.
the best thing I can do is get that thing out of my drive, put Darksiders in, and I don't know, eBay or trade it in. It's a fucking Ubisoft game. Trading price is going to be almost zero, so there's absolutely no point in me trading it in. But I'd do something with it. Turn it into an ashtray. Door wedge, something to stop my table from wobbling. Anything, just get it out of my
the dog.
Exactly. But I think that's us done talking about what we've been playing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, not bad going. Just
Do Amazon still have that ability to trade games in?
no, they got rid of that a while ago.
Because no one used it.
Well, I don't think it was no one used it. I think it was people that did use it realised that they were actually giving better prices than anybody else, and I think Amazon were probably losing quite a fair amount of money doing that.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I don't know. Yeah. Game? No, don't like Game. Well, that's a lie. I do like Game, but they don't give great trade-in prices. I will not.
Sex.
I will not go into CEX because I wear relatively expensive trainers and I don't want to leave them stuck to the floor.
What's that website? The one that does it? Game Exchange or something like that?
Yeah, Game Exchange isn't bad. I've used them a few times.
They give better rates than most other places.
Yeah.
And they give you money in PayPal.
Yep. I might just eBay it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You probably won't get a lot for it.
No, you won't.
Maybe 15, if that. 12, maybe.
That's alright. Pays for, I don't know, something that's on sale. Or a bit of DLC or something.
Or like a pint at your local.
Where I live next to a really expensive local, so probably a half.
Yeah, half a shandy.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Let's wrap this bad boy up with some recommendations. Do you want to go first?
I'm going to recommend a game that is only, I think it stops being available on the 15th of May, so you don't have a lot of time. So, that's Monday? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's on Games with Gold right now on Xbox Live is Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2, which the bad story for this game is the fact that it was cancelled mid-development and they released it anyway.
Oh, excellent.
So it's one of those games where it just ends, just like out of nowhere. It's just like you've just spent a fair amount of time playing some pretty interesting and decent story. You do a weird section, and then it's like the game just goes, oh, by the way, this is the end of the game now. And you're like, what?
Perfect.
There was a third game that was planned, but that was cancelled mid-development of number 2. So they were mid-development of 2 when that was cancelled. At the same time as 3 was cancelled, that was like just being drawn up to be started. But it was mostly down to the fact that it was at the exact time of the Disney takeover.
I was going to say, was this Disney taking over LucasArts? So
Yeah.
the same thing that killed. Was it 1313?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything died. Star Wars games died at the same time that Disney took over because Disney wanted to rewrite the canon. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because, well, actually no, not really okay with it on the grounds that we haven't actually had a Star Wars game come out since Disney took over, really.
Battlefront 2 is going to have a single player though.
Yeah, which looks fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, because I didn't really like Battlefront 1.
Yeah. Well, Battlefront 1 didn't have a single player. It was just reskinned Battlefield 4.
So I saw
was just reskinned Battlefield 3.
Yeah, I saw Twitter kind of explode with Battlefront stuff. Was it Star Wars Celebration? They announced it.
Yeah.
And I saw Twitter kind of explode with it, and I went, okay, whatever. And literally it completely fell off my radar. I've not even seen a fucking trailer for it, and I can't think of anything I would be less interested in chasing a YouTube trailer for.
Yeah. I suppose it helps a lot that I think the chick who is playing the main character, from what we've seen in Battlefront 2 single player, is fucking hot.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Is it anybody from the current films?
No, it's Janina Gavankar, who's in The League.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Now wrong with that. Anyways,
Your recommendation, Mr. Brooks?
My recommendation, a game I've spent a little while doting over earlier on. Just got onto PlayStation Plus for the month, so you've got until the end of the month to grab it. Is Telltale's Tales from the Borderlands. It's free. It is a bargain at twice the price.
Yeah, it's more than worth playing for free. It's worth paying 15 quid to play it. So free is definitely...
Yeah. And I think that's us all done, mate. I think we're wrapped for another episode.
Another episode down. Let's start planning another episode coming because... Well, screw it. Let's not bother planning anything.
Well, the next episode, I don't have any. I will probably. I'm hoping if I get really lucky and I plan properly and I don't decide to sit and watch films instead, I would like to have a decent chunk of Prey done. I think for the next episode. Apart from that, I have no plans.
Yeah, I mean, what have we got? We've got the 23rd, the 6th, so it's 2 more episodes before E3.
Yeah, so we're going to have next episode will be just another episode like this. And then the episode after that will be pre-3.
Yeah, pre-3.
And then an absolute shit ton, hopefully, of E3 stuff, but that we will explain
later.
A little bit later on. But yeah, so until next time, Mr. Miller, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter as John_CU, on Xbox Live as Long Dong Silver.
Cool. I am at the Brooker. I cannot fucking speak today.
The Brooker of Eli.
I am so fucking glad we're nearly done because I'm gonna go hang myself. I am at Brooker411, if you can believe it, on Twitter, where I hang around. I talk games, I talk films, and things that just piss me off. I just moan constantly.
Yep.
And
he does.
I do all the time. It's just what I do. And I write and podcast for Failed Critics, our mothership podcast and site. So you can find me over there. And if you don't want to find us anywhere else, you can find us at Character Unlock anywhere that you can put in an @ sign. So Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all at Character Unlock. And if you really want to ignore us until the next time, you'll find us back here in a couple of weeks for yet another episode. Until then, say goodnight, John.
Good night, John.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, stop dicking around, John. Let's get to work.
I can't help it.
Right. Okay. What do we say? It was episode 18.
Yes.
Welcome once again to this, the 18th episode of Character Unlock. Oh, fuck me. I am such a mong.
Yes.
I'm gonna try that again. Can't
Fucking
talk
special
today.
case.
Oh, such a mong. Oh. I went to say the spoilerific podcast. I was like, that's not the word I'm looking for.
We're not spoiling anything.
No.
Maybe maybe other people's dinners, but
Jesus Christ. Shambolic was the word I was looking for. Jeez, just trying to be a bit different and clever. Failed at the first hurdle.
Don't.
Right, let's try that
Beaten
again.
by your own intelligence.
I know, or lack of.
Yeah, that's the one.
Beat myself to death with my own stupidity. Alright, let's try again. Welcome to the 18th episode of Character Unlock Podcast. Fuck! Dude!
Dude, seriously, you just
Oh, right, I'm not gonna be clever. I can't be asked. This is falling apart horribly and I haven't even fucking started yet.
you're not
Bollocks.
big and you're not clever, man.
Oh,
Come on,
Jesus.
get your shit together, son.
Right. Fuck me.
Take 3.
Alright, swig of coffee and I'm gonna do this. Third time fucking lucky. God fucking damn it.